Circular migration is actually a new phenomena from the last couple of years, where migration has been important anyway from the last decade already. Circular migration is a new term that has attracted a lot of attention, and that we really are, in collaboration with sending countries, researching the ups and downs and the positive sides that this could have in sense of a triple win.
On the triple win theory, which says that migration can be a win-win-win. It's good for the country of origin, it's good for the country of destination, and it's good for the migrants themselves. Well, we would like this to be true, but the reality is that this is not true. Migration cannot replace decent work in host country. I mean, if a majority of people, if they could get a decent work in their home country, they wouldn't need to migrate, and they would quite frankly prefer to stay with their family. I mean, it's only a very small part of the working force that, is young and is likely to travel and see the world. The great majority of migrant workers are forced to migrate because they're basically, cannot feed their family. So that's the reality. Now, is that good for the migrant workers? Well, if their rights are respected, if they can, make a decent wage, if they have decent working condition, if their health is not put into danger, then yeah, it could be a good deal. But we would like to see those conditions happen on the ground, and we haven't seen that very well.
I do think there is a relationship between circular migration and Millennium Development Goals, but as stated here in this workshop, we're still so far off in actually defining a circular migration. And if circular migration is defined in free movement back and forth between sending and hosting countries, then we're still far off actually realizing circular migration. But at the moment that we would, at least maybe even specific target groups, would allow that to happen, that most certainly would have a major contribution to these Millennium Goals. The former Dutch government decided to execute a pilot on circular migration. Really in the thought of changing demographics in the Netherlands, where we really need to enlarge our labor force and the need of migrants to migrate, for instance, to the Netherlands. And the thought was, how can you in a controlled environment, risk-controlled environment, find out what works and what doesn't work? Is there actually, can you actually speak of a triple win? Will there be benefits for all groups involved? And what are the risks and downfalls? And actually, maybe the major downfall is actually that the public debate has turned so negative that our government had decided to stop the pilot in between. Which shows that our major concern for the future is creating more space for this public debate.
And what we cannot accept is that when you've got schemes, migration schemes, that do not respect workers' rights and that do not enforce the principle of equal treatment between local and migrant workers. And a lot of circular migration schemes today fall in those categories, violating workers' rights, not providing for the principle of equal treatment. So they are unacceptable because this is labor exploitation. And this is putting a downward pressure on all the sector. And that we cannot accept. Now, if we think about, on the other hand, we cannot give a blanket no to all type of temporary migration. That's not the issue. What we want is that if workers come to a country, that they have access to minimum wage, that they have access to social protection, that they have the same health and safety condition than local workers, than national workers. So this is really an issue of equal treatment there.
Well, we don't expect them to stay forever, because this should be a circular migration program. We don't teach them the language, we don't expect them to participate, so maybe we are strengthening the problems and the issues we have in society as far as cohesion is concerned, and the whole negative attitude towards migration we might be strengthening through such schemes as these. So we should be looking in involving migrants more into our lives.